All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to your Tuesday morning. Hope you're nice and warm there, Olivia. But hopefully everyone's having themselves a good Tuesday. Feels strange to be back here this morning. Doesn't feel like a Tuesday for whatever reason. Well, let's see what the markets have in store for us here today. Hopefully, we can get ourselves some nice action and then get on with our lives. So, today, right, economic calendar should be a little bit busier, I would imagine. Got a little bit of stuff here this morning, nothing too crazy. Got some tentative data, but fine, nothing insane. It should be a reasonably smooth session. I guess we'll see. But yeah, let's figure it out and hopefully we can get ourselves going here and put together a strong trading day. So Friday, right? Doji effectively decreasing volume and then gap down. So we'll call that 2 out of 3 downside, right? Without volume. It gives us an upside target here, upside starting point 68.90. Pretty punchy. And then we can go up to 99. Oh, probably a little bit punchy, but we'll go like, excuse me, 69.50 maybe. That's plenty of space. To the downside, looking at 68.10 as your starting point. And then we kind of have it mapped out 67.50. Cool. All right, NQ, increasing volume versus decreasing. Indecisive doji though, right? That's not the best. Looking at a 500 as your starting point here to the downside, and then looking at a 24.9 to the upside. So I think we're doing just fine. All right, CL roll week. Yes, rolls on Wednesday, so that's tomorrow. I'm not going to bother with this until the roll. Cool. All right. Apple. Red. Oh, excuse me. Red candle decreasing volume gap up. 1 for 3. Tesla red. Sorry, green candle decreasing volume gap down. 1 for 3. Again, just to the upside. In Microsoft, kind of looks like an inside bar. Is an inside bar. Amazon red decreasing gap. So 1 for 3. AMD green decreasing gap down. A 1 for 3 upside. NVIDIA red decreasing gap. Oh, excuse me. So without Meta red decreasing gap down. So 2 out of 3 without. Okay. Inside bar. Netflix. Netflix has looked like it's wanted to find a bottom for a while, and it just can't. Google. 2 out of 3 with volume. Pretty punchy gap down. And then VIX, I think it's like 16, 17. Much higher. 21.81. 21.81. That's a lot. That's pretty high. It should give us a decent amount of volatility here this morning. At least I would think it gives us a decent amount of volatility. But let's see. I think that's it's a good place to be, I think. How's everyone feeling this morning? We kind of fired through that prep really fast. Nice. That's a good start, Regan. Nice, Timo. Look, if you had a good pre-market, go go enjoy your day, right? You made $500. Go enjoy your morning. Oh yeah, Hunter. I love that. James. All right, so it looks like everyone's feeling good here today. Everyone's feeling sharp. Like I said, we kind of fired through that prep really fast this morning. So it should be a pretty smooth session, I would think. I sound mellow. I don't know about that, but I think I'm always pretty mellow. Yeah, it was all right. Today should be a good day. Maybe I'm mellow because I got a friend who's sleeping in the room over. I use their trade station product, Johnny. Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty nice day. I'm excited. Oh, it's a good time. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We got a little bit of snow last night. We should get way more, I think, but that should be a nice cold day up on the mountain. I love I don't know, Canadian town when it's gotten its first day of snow. It's so beautiful. Day number two, pretty disgusting, but day number one, pretty good. All right, so we got a couple minutes here, 3 or 4 minutes till market opens. In general, right, we kind of have a weak trending market to the downside, right? So if we think back to last week, kind of what we saw there was reasonably range bound markets, right? So stuff that a lot of the moves are happening overnight, or it would be like a big opening range and then things stall out type thing. And then when we were in trades, right, some of those trades were just moving exceptionally fast. So kind of expecting a little bit of that here today again, right? More of the same or a continuation of that to a certain extent here today. Basically assume the market's going to behave like it always has until proven otherwise. We guys want to see what that proven otherwise looks like here this morning, right? Is it a high conviction trend day? Is it a low conviction chop? Is it indecision? Do we get clean breakouts? Let's see. That's really all we're kind of hoping for here this morning. If we can get it, it's gonna be a good day. If we can't, all right, so be it. It's not going to be the end of the world. But let's set things up here. Let's see how we can, yeah, put together what the market wants to give us. And I don't know, for whatever reason, prep came together so fast today. I don't feel like I have anything else left to say. One of those mornings. I use TradingView for my charting. All right, so let's get after it here. So, what does a market order mean, right? A market order means you want to get in at the market price, whatever the price is that you can get in when you want. A limit price, right, means that you're going to get a fill at the whatever the market can give you up until X price. So think about the mechanics here, guys. Like I don't know how complicated the orders need to be here. They are extremely basic. If you are limiting yourself to be executing up until a price and you are below that price, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to execute at that price, right? You're going to execute up until that price. You're going to get in. But I can't comprehend why there's so much confusion about different orders, people. If you click submit when price is better than the blue line, you will get a fill better than the blue line. If you chase and you wait for me to say that I'm in, and only once you say here that I'm in, you click submit, you don't bother checking the price, you will always get a worse fill than me. Like at some point, we have to just realize that it doesn't really matter if you use a market order or if you use a limit order. That's not going to be the difference between if you get the same entries as me. The difference is going to be when you choose to click that button, and it really doesn't matter which button you've gotten ticked. So at some point here, team, we need to figure this out because it is way too basic of a concept for us to be confused by. And like all the magic words that I can say and all the different technique things that I can say, they do not change when you click submit. Like none of these techniques will fix the problem that people have where they're waiting until I say I'm in a position, and then once I'm in a position, they click submit blindly. They don't see the price, they don't check their risk, they don't do any of those things. It doesn't matter if you use a limit order, it doesn't matter if you use a market order, it'll be the exact same outcome in that situation. So it's like everyone's focusing so much on how can Michael hold my hand even harder when that's not going to get you the result. But at some point here, team, right? We need to have some level of accountability over when you click the button. Just because you hear I'm in a position doesn't mean you have to click it right away. Just because you haven't heard that I'm in a position doesn't mean you can't click the button either. So like that's literally your only job here. Your job here is to focus on the quality of your execution. And everyone just spends all this time confusing themselves and tricking themselves into thinking when I choose to click the button isn't actually the problem. It's the button. Or it's the way that Michael calls out his trades, or it's the market, or it's this, or it's that, or it's this, or it's that. It's never any of those things. I don't know how else to be more precise with what I'm doing. I'm literally giving you guys a 10-point range. 10 points on 25, 25,000. So it's like how much more precise do you need to be? Like you need it to the exact tick. Like that's not going to exist. So if we can't infer that information and find confidence, and when we click that button ourselves, guys, it will not matter. It really will not. The only way you're going to fix your entries is you fix when you choose to click submit. That's it. Doesn't matter if you're using limit orders or if you're using market orders. It's getting submit when you want, at the area you want, at the time you want, at the price you want, not when I'm in. Not just because you heard some someone tell you they're in a trade. Crazy. All right, so we got 40 seconds here left on this candle. We have a good chance for this to be a breakout. Let's see how this candle closes. We want a strong close. Pretty good if we can keep it there. Above 60 probably would be the point here. Okay, fine close, right? By every possible metric. So for now, right, we're looking at a 761. Can't still say like I've seen the fake out yet to the downside, so I'm still waiting. Finding support off of that handle pretty well. 2 minutes still really the only viable option here for me, but no fake out. At least no tradable one yet. $800 breakout here. It's got to hold 800 now, realistically, or as close to 800 as possible. And so closed right at 8. $791 now would be the stop loss. Reference price would be 800. I'll change that. That might be our fake out now. That goes 781 now as your stop. Lower even still. 76. Still no reference price, right? So we're not looking at an entry yet. And so 71. Your stop loss. And this is very similar to the nonsense we saw last week, right? Where it would fake out and then run really, really big. Let's see if we can find our entry here now. And if not, right, we'll just set it up on the next candle. Not really a big deal. Still sticking on the 2-minute time frame here. Yeah, another reasonable close. Looking at a 787. Okay, 77. Didn't want to. Let's see. It's got to get 87 or better, nice and gently. Too fast, right? That was way too fast. That went from 89 to 80 in one tick. That puts us now at a 769 stop loss. That would put me at a 79 approximately reference price. And even though, right, price is higher than what our reference price would have been, we would have been stopped out on every attempt to trade this to the upside here still. So our patience very justified so far. And this might be our opportunity here. I like that increasing volume too much. Gonna wait this thing out just a second. Oh, because of that increasing volume, I'm gonna wait. Not a very strong indication of trending markets. So if anything, that might be a signal here to the downside after multiple attempts to crack through. Work Hunter. Yeah, take your payout, man. It's way more valuable than making another $200 today. Absolutely. We'll make it real. Nice work, Reagan. Again, we're in business here. Looking at 721.50 for now. It's called 722. A little bit higher, 726. Actually, a little bit lower, 723. So you're looking at like 713 ish. And pre-min flushed even before I had a chance. So again, we'll keep waiting for this thing to behave properly. A bit of a frustrating start though. Yeah. Peace. All right, 10 seconds again here. And just because things are moving quickly and there's good volatility and there's some nice ranges, doesn't mean we have to change our process and start rushing things, right? You come from or like you make money from a consistent, repeatable process, right? You don't make money when you come at it from a point of, ooh, I need to make a ton of money, otherwise I'm a loser. 696 would be the stop loss for now. Okay, be higher. 705, maybe higher. 713 now. One's first. Both be the same. And no chasing it, right? We've got a 100-point range. Even our profit target here still now is like 150 points away. We got a lot of room to play here, team. We don't need to force this or rush this, or if I don't get a trade here, I'm a big failure. That's not the reality. Be deliberate, right? Don't chase something just because you're desperate. It's the worst reason to take a trade. Okay, she's looking at a 752 for now. Sorry, yeah, 652. Yeah, why draw it on my screen? Yeah, she's looking at a 69 stop loss. Hmm. If you're looking at 69, your reference price about there. Watching closely here, watching closely. Too fast. That might be your fake out there, though. That'll be a 77. Yeah, that's your fake out again. And we'll wait for this on the 3-min here. Oh. Mean market. And nice little breakout setup. That's 100 points in 30 seconds. Crazy. I'd be looking at a 600 stop loss for now. Put me at an entry at 590. There. And if it doesn't, right, we'll have the 2-min to deal with in a second, so no big deal. And I'm just going to focus on the 2-min as I'm not going to get a pullback here on the 3. Target is before. I might get a pullback on the 3. All right, watching here. Close. An 87. I didn't quite see 89. All right, guys, I'm in 591.25. 591.25. Short. 591. Let's see if this thing can go. So far, so good. Very good entry. I don't like that little bounce back. That's 20 points. Come on, keep going, keep going. There's 30, 40. Come on, keep pushing, you prick. There it goes. There it goes. Almost 50 points. All right, guys, I'm out. I'm taking it. I'm out. Exit price 38.25. 38.25 from 91 to 38 in about 2 seconds. Let's go. That is why we're patient, right? Exactly that reason right there. Let's go, team. Let's go. Let's go, Scott. Let's go. Holy shit, Will. Congratulations. 10K. Wow, man. That's awesome, dude. An excellent decision to close where we did. Nice work, Nick. Well done, team. Well done. Nice work, Michael. Well done, team. Huge days for everybody. Hell yeah, guys. Hell yeah. I mean, I'm not going to place another trade. I'll tell you that much. I know that for sure. 50 points, 5 contracts, not even 10 a.m. I'm enjoying my life. Yeah, I'm good. Does it not work? I mean, I had no issues with Trading View executing my trade. Sounds like maybe paper trading. Yeah, honestly, guys, like I get it. Paper trading doesn't work as well as you want it to. I have the same advice. Complaining about paper trading is pointless. Like literally, you can't make any money on it. You can't make any points on it. So at some point, right, we gotta just move on to somewhere where we can learn. So paper trading historically, is not a super well supported product because it doesn't make any money for anybody. So let's not put too much stock into paper trading, right? Use it to learn my cadence and then move on. Paper trading is just unreliable because it's simulating, right? So the market, when you fill your price, it's because you sent something to the market, then you got to fill. Paper trading glitches out because all of a sudden volatility comes in, their order matching algorithm that they're making up stops working as expected, and you don't get a fill. So like I know when paper trading is frustrating and like it doesn't work, that sucks. But Honestly, guys, no one here should be like trying to paper trade for very long, right? You should be doing it for 10 days. Get your cadence down and move on, because it is deeply flawed, and you will learn more about you and your trading, just trading, than you will staying in paper trader forever, right? Like worst case scenario, you blow your eval. You're not going to get kicked out of the program. Like literally every single trader here has blown an eval before, dozens of them. Um, yeah, like you think, I don't know, like you think Kiki and Mike and Rusty, they've bought in one payout in their entire life, and that was the only one that paid them. No, right? It's just a game. It's okay. Payout or an eval cost me $200. Do I have an expected value of making more than $200 or losing $200? That's all you're trying to figure out, right? Yeah, I've blown funded accounts too, market miner. It's a part of the game. Like when you realize that the consequence of blowing a $150,000 account isn't losing $150,000. It's losing 10 days of your time and $200. Kind of have a bit more relaxed. But you don't need to buy funded resets. You could just go back to eval, right? Very like I had this conversation with someone else recently, but there's an expected value equation, right? If you can pass more than 50% of your eval attempts, your expected value to buy the reset of a funded account is not worth it. Like, guys, paper trading should literally only exist so you guys learn my cadence. So you learn when I'm going to start calling out trades, and you learn how the platform works. The second you have one or either of those, like even 70% down, stop wasting your time and energy on fake gains. It's not worth it. It really isn't worth it. Pretty much everyone here, if it was paper trading, would be millionaires. It's how do you manage it when you now got a little bit of extra pressure? That's the thing we care about. That's the thing we can actually learn from. Let's go, Patrick. Love that. Yeah, that was an awesome day, guys. 91 to 6 or yeah, 91 to 31. I'll take 60 points all day long. Just about 6K on that. Not too bad. I'm like, here, just one final thing, right? Everyone is here because they want to make money, right? Everyone is here because their objective is to try to get paid. You can't get paid trading on paper. It just doesn't happen, right? Maybe if you're like some 19-year-old kid posting pictures of a rented Lamborghini, maybe then. But I don't think any of us are that here. We're all a little bit more responsible and a bit more adult. So at some point, right, we gotta just give ourselves a little permission to fail. It's okay. I say this to everyone when they're ready to transition or they're asking me questions in one-on-ones over when it's time to do a funded account. 90% of the time, people treat it as if it's like this, or they just put it on such a pedestal, right? Oh, like I need to get funded. I need to do this. I need to do that, and they make it like a binary. But getting funded as a trader is easy for one. It also isn't what gets you paid, right? So it's like it's constantly optimizing for the wrong thing. Yeah, but in that's just a paper trading issue that would not have happened with your funded account, right? So you're associating TradingView's inherent glitchiness on its paper trader, which we have been warning people about for 6 months, and saying that it would have been exactly like that. No, it's opposite of what I'm saying, right? The market would have given you a fill when TradingView didn't, right? Any questions here, team? It was an awesome day. I'm not going to do anything else. Awesome day. Yeah, 100%. Like I said, right? Right click. TradingView makes zero money from paper trading. Brokerages make zero money from paper trading, right? So we have to understand that we are participating in the rawest form of capitalism that exists, right? The purest form, maybe not the rawest. That means every company here only cares about the things that actually make them money. And it goes for me too. Like I I honestly don't care if you have a big paper trading day. Like I don't, when I see a member having a 10K paper trading day, my thought isn't, "Oh wow, this person's such a good trader." It's, "Oh wow, why isn't this person trading live yet?" Right? So, I think paper trading, it becomes a little bit of a trap for people because it's gentle on the ego, right? It's gentle on, how am I going to make decisions? Oh, if I make a mistake, it doesn't sting as much, it doesn't do whatever. It's like protecting ourselves from actually learning and attacking what we need to. And I think that ultimately is what's cheating you more. So the setup here, right, was a high of day rejection on increasing outlier volume. We kept looking for entries, this candle, this candle, this candle, couldn't get one. Eventually, we got that increasing volume here and we're able to ride it out. So the setup here was a high of day fake out rejection. And then our confirmation ultimately was this 948. Then we jumped in at this 951. Yeah, no one should want, like, you're all here because you want to make money. I show up here every single morning because I want to make you guys money. Right? So at some point, we got to get off of the potential train, right? And get onto the actual train. We want to, yeah. Like we don't want the potential of making money is fun, but actually making money is better. And like I said, worst case scenario, if you blow your eval account, you're doing what literally every single other trader has ever done. Right? It's not a big deal. Not this boogeyman. Yeah, Best Loser Wins an amazing book. And I think once you read that book, you'll probably see how much of like my personal trading is influenced by a lot of those same concepts, right? Oh, it was a hell of a day, Herschel. Absolutely hell of a day. I generally don't like instant funded accounts because they tend to come with pretty ridiculous consistency rules. You end up having to make like 30 grand to pull out 5 grand. I don't know if that's worth it. Yeah, and if you're worried, like everything we do here, Parker, is spot on, right? It's about risk management first. If you go one contract and you have 10 points of risk, how many $200 losses you got to take before you blow your account? That'd be a lot of them. A huge amount, right? Like, I don't know, I think the thing that I see people get wrong the most, and I don't mean this, not calling anyone specifically out here at the moment, but I think most traders don't give themselves permission to make small mistakes, right? Where every mistake kind of feels like the death of hope. But I think the difference between like myself and a lot of you, and again, I don't want to be too egotistical here. Like a mistake doesn't feel good generally, but when I make a mistake on a losing day, right? So I don't take profit where I should, or I don't do whatever where I should, or something happens for whatever reason, right? And I have a bad trading day. The mistake is actually something that becomes really powerful because it gives me something optimistic to look out for at the end of a trading day. So if I make a mistake going short NQ and I lost a lot of money, there's something there in that trade that I could have done differently most of the time that would have made my day better. And finding what that thing is and like actually doing it, it's what makes me feel good and allows me to let go of a loss. Like a good example here, might have been last Tuesday or maybe 2 weeks ago now. I had a day where I was up really, really big on a trade. I was up like 3K. And then it reversed on me and I took like 10 points of slippage, extra slippage on that exit. And a 3K win ended up becoming a 2K loss. I went from being up 3R to losing 200% of what I expected. And so, yeah, when that trade finished, I was pissed off, right? I was not happy. I didn't feel very good about myself. I didn't really like who I was as a trader in that moment. All the intrusive thoughts and bad feelings that every trader has were at the very top of my mind in that moment. But then I looked at my position, I looked at my trade, and in the evening, I realized had I just taken profit where I said I was going to take profit or where I wanted to take profit, it would have been a really good day. So now instead of making a mistake, right, now I've got something that I can fix. I've got an optimistic version or an optimistic outcome, right, to that trade. And now there's something I can do about it. I can leave or end that day feeling as if I did something to improve. And now I don't need to like hold on to that baggage forever. That would have been even better. Yeah. Better risk reward than that. But well, that's pretty much spot on what we do, right? We find scenarios where we can get asymmetric upside. That's why we look for those 10-point stop losses. And it's why I get so annoyed when people don't think about their entries in that same way, right? Because our trading system, our math works best when we click submit at the point where that asymmetric upside is highest, right? So if we click entries or chase entries or get 15 points worse, right, than me net, you're no longer doing the same strategy or the same technique or the same setup or whatever, right? Your asymmetric upside is no longer the same as mine. So even though you think you're copying my trade and you think you're taking the same trade as me, in reality, you actually aren't, right? Because the math is now so skewed. So yes, I know it feels scary and intimidating and uncomfortable to click submit in that moment, but that's why you have to do it. right? You almost have to click submit because it's scary. And the more accountability you can create for yourself around when you click that button, the calmer you're going to feel in your positions, the more money you're going to make in your trades, and the better executions, right, you're going to constantly find. And so instead of solving for 100%, which doesn't exist in trading, you can start solving for 70%. And all of a sudden, right, have a little bit more clarity and peace of mind. But yeah, guys, like we got to give ourselves permission to make mistakes so that we can improve. And we actually got to give ourselves permission to play for stakes that's worth it. Like, I don't know, it's such an absurd idea that you can get stressed out by fake money. Right? Like it's such an absurd concept. Right? So like why would you allow yourself to live in that place? Like what's the point? And then just last thing, right? Enter when the trade feels its scariest. And entering when a trade feels the scariest feels counterintuitive, right? But the whole point of it is if you're wrong because the entry was so scary, actually getting stopped out of the trade is going to feel like a relief, right? Which is a huge positive. But then because you're doing the entry that feels scariest, right? Not the one that feels safest, you're actually setting yourself up to make a lot more money because you're fighting against all of those impulsive feelings that trick you into rushing that process. Right? So it's like you're doing the opposite of your impulse to a certain extent. That's extremely powerful. Yeah. Right? Like everything I do here, right click, is to try to create that asymmetric upside. Like my fib tool. All right, let's talk about that for a second. So the difference between the fib tool, right, we'll call that 50 points. That means my fib tool should be about 160 points away, right? So about three times the risk that I have. Awesome, right? But when I have this, where I've got 10 points of risk, for now a 200-point move, I take a setup that was 3-to-1 risk reward and turned it into 20-to-1 risk reward, right? All that does here is increase my probability of being profitable over 10 trades, 100 trades, 1,000 trades. Because now for me to get that same 3-to-1 risk reward return that I needed before, I need to get to like 62, right, from my entry instead of needing to get to 389. So that asymmetric upside, right, is what I'm looking for. That is my strategy. That is my edge. And so then everything else that I do in between is about managing my risk and managing my emotions so I can actually execute that consistently. Because these setups show up every single day. We get them multiple times a day, right? And generally, as a team, we can find one or two of these opportunities that give us that follow through consistently. So it's not that we don't get action. It's not that we're going to miss a trade. We're not going to miss the move, right? And if we do, we'll just catch it tomorrow. So all these like fears you have about being a failure or being a losing trader or not making money or whatever, they're all self-imposed torture devices that you put onto yourself that don't need to be there. Right? Trading is very much a mental game. And the more we focus on not like falling for the same mental traps over and 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 over again, the more we can actually start to fix our trading and change things. And that becomes harder in paper trading because there's no consequences, right? When you make a mistake or you screw something up or you don't improve your technique, the consequences of not changing aren't dramatic because it was never real to begin with. So like you trick yourself, right, into being stuck and like running on ice. You can still smack yourself in the head, but you're not going to get anywhere, right? That's what that means. Well, trading is very mental, guys. Be careful with the mental roadblocks you give yourself because they're not worth it. Take profit trader, they're great. All right, guys. Any other questions here? Yeah, absolutely, Ty. Like I'll always I won't always say that like I'll always tell you the nicest answer, but I'll always tell you the most honest one that I know. Just remember, guys, right? Trading mentally is as hard as you let it be, right? As hard as you allow it to be. The language you use to describe your problems becomes the goalpost under which we solve them. So if we constantly tell ourselves that things are harder than it is, or we constantly tell ourselves that we're undisciplined, or we constantly tell ourselves that we're impulsive or gamblers or losers or whatever it might be, whatever adjective you want to describe your malaise with, you'll end up just living that out because the more you tell yourself that, the more you live in that festering nonsense, the more it becomes a reality because you've already cushioned the blow, right? So if like you tell yourself that you're impulsive and then you take an impulsive trade, you're not annoyed by that outcome as much because you already knew you were impulsive, right? It's the same thing with everything in trading. Choose the language you use to describe your problems carefully because it will shape your psychology directly. The correlation is 1 to 1. Understood? Yeah, it was an amazing day. Absolutely amazing. Made what you'd make in like a good job in 30 seconds. Like made what you make in a month in a good job in 30 seconds. There's no other game in the world that you can do that. Trading's incredible, but it's as incredible as you want it to be. Yeah, yeah, the right book, correct. Yeah, like everyone's mark of mine, like everyone's got their thing that gets them there, right? Everyone's got their own little. Some people it's affirmations, some people it's writing stuff on the board, whatever it might be. Like that's the thing what makes trading unique, right? Everyone has a different learning style. Everyone has a different way that they attack problems, and you generally do better the more selfish you are in those decisions. Just speaking generally. All right, team. Final call for questions here. Final call for questions. Nice, Baker. Well done. Yeah, we were in a trade today for like 90 seconds, and people were making like $300 a second at one point. Right? So the money itself is not the problem here. The ability to make money here is not the problem for people. Their ability to keep their head around making. The less accountability you have over why you're making decisions, less control you have over that. I'm sure we got a couple people here today that did seven or maybe six figures, not seven figures. I got a couple traders doing, maybe $1,500, $2,000 today, but they've got 60 accounts. Right? You can create as much upside and as much leverage as you want here. You just have to create that proof of concept first. And that proof of concept is changing your belief system so you actually believe that you can be a winning trader, but then going from there. All right, guys, have yourselves a great rest of the day. We'll be back at it again here tomorrow for hopefully be another strong session, but awesome day. Great start to our Tuesday. Maybe markets need to take Monday off more often, but well done here, everybody. Awesome to have had a great session, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.